Awesome. Well, welcome back to the Overnight Success Podcast. Today I have Ben Wilson with me, owner of Vendors United, Learn Hot Dogs, How to Start a Lemonade Business. I found you, Ben, at this point about a month ago or so. Some people might not know I'm actually in the middle of a layoff myself and trying to figure out how to make ends meet on top of this business. But I really wanted to have you on here because you have an amazing story that starts, I thought it was 10 years ago. I guess we're going back 20 years, back to the '07, '08 housing market crash. But essentially, at the end of the day, you are, I'll call it an expert in helping other people get started in the street food vending business. And before we go back and kind of learn how you got here today, I want to see what that success looks like. So, get an average week, an average month, kind of what does your lifestyle look like? How are you spending your time? Who are you helping? Where do you kind of playing around with on a day to day or week to week?
Most of my days are encompassed with answering emails, answering people's questions. I started focusing it, narrowing it down a decade or so ago with the Vendors United group, just because it allowed me to take the people that were more serious and even though there's a cost to be in there, I still help everyone, even the people that aren't in there. But I have found that the people that I devote the most time to typically are the laziest and they want everything spoon fed. So with Vendors United, even though it's a pay group and it's relatively inexpensive, it's a cost of a half a pizza, is it shows initiative. So people tend to listen better and apply those techniques, and they're already self-motivated. They don't need me to push them into, man, you should get into this business, it's really really good. I don't have to do that with them.
Yeah, yeah. So I've gone down the rabbit hole of watching a lot of your YouTube videos because they are so educational. There is no ego behind them, which I really appreciate because a lot of today's videos are like, look at my fancy lifestyle. This is what you want to live. Oh, here's a quick nugget to help you get there, right? Work harder. That's what the video comes down to. But here you are, you're like pulling back the curtain and going into a lot of those details. And I really respect the fact that you have built Vendors United, and I like the way that you did it because one, I think you could probably charge more, but your focus is to help people that are sometimes in that spot of like, I hate my job. You talk about this a lot of like, I hate the 9 to 5 or maybe even more hours than that. I'm barely making ends meet. How do I do something that I have control of? Because again, as I've learned, nothing is guaranteed in life when it comes to jobs. And like you were really there as more of a like a servant leader and a teacher. You happen to make money with it, but to your point is also to kind of cut through the noise because you get a lot of those tire kickers that are imagining like, oh, how do I make $1 million a year selling lemonade? And they're going to ask you all of those questions, and like you get more realistic. So that's great. And so what is the what is your favorite part of your week? Like what do you get the most energy out of?
The times when I can relate to someone that's on the phone and can you can kind of get the feel that they truly are interested. They truly want to know and they want the fastest path there, but they're not looking for a temporary solution, which some do, and I understand that. But they're serious. And so when I get on those phone calls and I get this sense that, man, this is the perfect person for this. They have the right attitude. They have the right, and I get excited, and I just give it all away. I'm like, oh, don't buy that course. Let me just give it to you. I'll email it to you because I get excited to watch people have success. Success is a big ball, and it means different things to different people. To me, I live in an old home in the mountains and I have geese and chickens and pigs and cows and make no money from that stuff. I enjoy it. It is my peace. And so I when I see somebody that wants to go out, like I've had vendors that go, Ben, I need 250,000 a year. I was doing that at corporate job. And well, yes, it's doable, 100% doable. And I'll show you how. I've done it. But I also love helping the people that go, I'm just looking to my social security ain't good and it isn't good enough and times are rough. And so I want to make I want to I want to make another 1,500 a month. And I go, good. That's a couple days a month of work. And for some that could be 3 or 4 days a month, but you're only talking 3 or 4 hours a day when you do it. And, and not everybody has that same success, because in our heads, and I may be going too far here, but
Keep
in
going.
our
Keep
heads,
going.
you know, man, I'm um so excited to start hot dog vending or funnel cakes or kettle corn or whatever it is. And they'll go, I'm going to go to Fifth and Main. That's a great spot to be. And everybody thinks that, that like street food. But the truth is it comes down to better locations, the obscure stuff. We have a guy in VU that just started vending at a freaking Greyhound switch station, and he's making a killing. What a brilliant idea. I've been in this 20 years and had never heard anybody bring that up, never even considered that as a great location. And I mean, it never even crossed my mind. And so we learn from each other, but it allows me to help others. Because of my platform, I'm able to, which is a small niche market. I mean, you'd have to agree. I'm in a very niche market. It's a little bit smaller than underwater basket weaving clubs, but it is so fun to me to see people go, oh, I was at Fifth and Main. Now I'm over here at the Greyhound, or I'm at the nursery where all the companies that sell plants come to get their plants to resell. And I've got this audience, basically a captive audience. Those types of vendors make a killing, and they do it with trading very little of their time. And so that trading time, time for dollars, changes. Now I haven't figured out, the Microsoft way to do it where you make the product once and you keep selling it forever and it, makes you billions. But I'm not after billions. And it's not like I've conceded in life. I'm happier now than I was when I was wealthy, wealthy. Prior to hot dogs, I was wealthy, and then I lost it all. And then I had to start over from scratch, and I was on food stamps and borrowed cars, and it was awful. So this is much more fun and much more rewarding, and it probably is ego. I like to say, "Oh, I got a big heart and I love to help people," and I do, but I like the feeling that comes from helping people, which is part of that ego thing. It fulfills me, and I feel like I can leave a legacy that, if I die tomorrow, these ripples will keep going, and that's what I love.
I love that. There's so many directions I can go. I do want to go to the crash because, to your point, you're wealthy before you fell down and kind of came back up. But two real quick things. We talked before, like, yes, this is a niche, it's street food vending, but I think there's a huge nugget there that you said, and it is those people are going to where the audience is, and so I think that applies to almost any business out there. And that was one of the things I really enjoyed about when I'm starting to learn about like the lemonade business and the hot dogs is like in my world, like I have to find people, like shake hands, advertise, like all these things, and you might just be advertising to a bunch of people that don't care. But for you, it's like let me bring the product to the person where they're already at. And here in Charleston, I mean, we've got food trucks and street food vending everywhere, but you realize like people are not afraid to spend money on this. And I've always wondered like what is that lifestyle like? And so one, thank you for that nugget because I think that applies to everything. But I do want you to talk a little bit about the lifestyle of some people where they are only working. I forget, you've done some numbers where you've sent it out like you have over 200 days off a year or something like that. Kind of what inside of your Vendors United, the people to your point, they're like those pros at this point. What are they kind of doing from a lifestyle standpoint? Because I think if you establish your success as far as like trading less time for money, I really think what you're doing here encapsulates that fully.
I think that, there's a it's a line of people in VU and just in my normal email list that are some that work 5-6 days a week, and they are putting kids through college and they just feel like they've got to be at Fifth and Main, and it's a good day. And I've got a good friend that's a vendor. He works way, way, way too much to me. He is tickled pink. I mean, tickled pink with $300 a day. And he's not putting in 3 hour days like most vendors. He's putting in 8 hour days. And I go, man, but see, he came from an industry where he wasn't paid that much. And so this is like heaven to him. And he can't even fathom having the other. But then you've got vendors like Ken Packer, who who goes out and sets up in front of a Northern Tool or a Harbor Freight, and in his case it was a Tractor Supply, and he does pretty dang good. And he started getting regulars, and then he started taking the advice of others and testing the waters on events and private gigs, and all of a sudden he exploded. Now he does 3 states and has multiple pieces of equipment, and he's still this humble man, but he's able to put away a lot of money. And then we've got vendors, like Jason Brown. I've talked about. Jason get mad if he didn't make 15 grand in a day in a 4 hour shift. He'd be mad. But not everybody has that same goal or drive, and but everybody has the opportunity for it. I have the opportunity for that. I could go take my cart right now and go set up and make more than I do right now. I just love, and you may have heard me say this before, I feel morally obligated to help others, because I have people ask me, then why, if it's so good, why aren't you doing it? Well, I do it still. I still do it. Not for income. I make income for other people. I'll go to a charity event or help raise funds for a school trip or something. I'll I'll do that, but I I love helping others get there and seeing that you no longer have to work 80 hours a week. You no longer have to work 40 hours a week. You can put, if you do this right, and I've talked about this before, it's a 3 step process. Like digging a hole is a 3 step process. You need no luck digging a hole. You might be in worse soil, and I may be able to be in better soil, but I can find better soil. You see what I'm saying? We can. So it's just a step by step process. If you do these things, you will be successful. We know that every time we light a piece of newspaper on fire, it gets bigger and it burns up the newspaper every single time. It's not a luck or chance. And so that's what I love about this business is I can say you will be successful. Follow these steps. You will be successful. How successful? It depends on what you want to do with it.
Yeah,
I
and I
may have
think
gone off the rails there with you.
no, that's good. Okay, again, that applies today because I think people running their business, they might need to go find better soil. Using that analogy, that might be part of it. But I mean, I love your business because the people that are coming from a 9 to 5 or more, again, like in construction or something, they're working their tails off for whatever that price is, and if they put that exact same energy into this, it could multiply for them, and it's their business. And if they decide that they don't want to go to the event next month because they want to go on vacation, they have that. They have that option because like they have full control of that. So that's why I found that the industry is so amazing, because in a way anybody can do it, but at the same time you've definitely got those layers that you've expressed, that you've got your pros in it that are $15,000 in one day, and you've got the people that are kind of putting in a lot of hours and not doing as much, but you have full control over that, which I think is amazing. And I think the success you mentioned, as far as one, the fact to you, Ben, that you get that opportunity to decide when you vend, and it's mostly for charity in those cases, like that's amazing. So back to everybody has views success differently. Like you are truly living that today, which I love. So let's go back now to when it wasn't so great and kind of what got you started into this. So you mentioned wealthy before hot dogs. So what was making you wealthy before hot dogs?
So I had a chain of furniture stores, and 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 I stumbled into it broke. I started a used furniture store called Hillbilly Hand Me Downs, and then I grew that into a huge mattress and furniture stores in 5 states, and it did really really well, like private plane wealthy. And but I was overextended and inexperienced, and even handling that. I didn't even have a full time accountant. I was just like, woo, and how much more property can I buy? And then and literally this is how poorly I did those decisions. When the market just barely started to go down, the housing market in '07, I lost everything within 3 months. Everything. Foreclosed, all the vehicles, the plane, um, everything was gone. Every single thing was gone except my kids and my wife. And we got loaned to us kind of a mobile home. Somebody gave us a car, and um, and we went on food stamps. And so I was reading a story about a guy in Texas or New Mexico. This is years ago, so it was one of those two that was in the boat of getting foreclosed on because they had given these huge loans out to people without good credit, and they he was in that boat. He had this horrible um, mortgage, and he was trying to save his family's home, and he started a hot dog cart with his family. And I was like, well, I could do that. Well, here I am in East Tennessee, and people had never seen a hot dog cart except on a dang movie. And so I set one up in front of a tire shop because I did the Fifth and Main idea. And there's a lot of traffic here. Well, turns out all that traffic just kept on driving by. I made money, but I just got lucky. This is where things happen. A customer pulled up and said, "Hey, would you like to vent? I work at a factory. We have no vending on the at night. It's a 24-hour shift, or shifts, and there's no cafeteria at night, just vending machines. And can you call my HR person, see if you can take the card out there?" I started doing that 11 to 1. 11 at night till 1 in the morning. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've hit the jackpot. And I quickly realized 2 days a week was plenty. 7 days a week, I didn't make any more money than I did 2. So I just took 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I went out there, and it helped me catch 4 different shifts during those 2 hours on each day. And I made a killing. And so within 7 weeks, I had 3 carts running and helping family. And then by the end of the year, I had 22 carts running. And that was a nightmare. That was another stupid decision. Oh, I'll need more furniture stores. And it didn't work out that way for me. Having more um, items in the fire, irons in the fire, was not beneficial to me. So I culled down within the first 3 months of the new year. I culled down to 3 carts.
Yeah. That's cool though. I mean, I really appreciate the fact that you do kind of jump into it. Again, lessons learned there along the way. But I know I struggle with analysis paralysis, and it's just one of the, like I'm not the greatest at action taker. I'm risk adverse and things like that. But I love that you jumped into that and it paid off. You learned. You went a little bit too big too fast, but at least you kind of figured it out and you didn't let your brain kind of get in the way of things,
Right.
which is amazing. And I also love the strategy there too. Again, some people might walk past a hot dog cart or lemon shakes, like, yeah, like all they're doing is putting hot dogs in water and like serving it. But you got strategic there for those 2 hours a night, crossing 2 shifts. And who would ever think that the guy that shows up 2 nights a week is making a living now just off of selling hot dogs? And I think that's amazing. In today's world, we always think you have to go for that big tech. You mentioned like the Microsoft scaling thing. Like we always think we have to go for the next big idea. But at the end of the day, people are hungry, and you're bringing the product that that they need, and you're doing it strategically. Again, maybe Fifth and Main sounds good on paper, but you figured out it wasn't, and you found where everybody was going for.
There's so much beauty and intricacies that I've learned over the years, and it doesn't sound complex. Lemonade is not complex. The girl I just interviewed the other day, the Dirty Soda, she made 30 grand in whatever 22 days, or 22 grand in 30 days. I don't remember the exact number, but it was just astronomical. And you go, with what? A Coke, a Coke, and some coffee creamer? And yes, because people like. I've always said this. When does a sandwich taste better? When somebody else makes it for me. I don't know why, but my wife can make me a sandwich, and that sandwich or salad tastes way better than had I made it. I don't know why. And we all eat. We all go and eat. And even in the worst of times, we tend to reward ourselves with food more than when times are good. When times are good and you have plenty of money, you're a lot more selective. I think human nature, you're a lot more selective on what you eat. You start going, you know what, I'm going to slim down, I'm going to eat better. But when you're struggling, you're like, I worked hard today. I deserve to go to Taco Bell. I deserve it. And or I deserve to go buy a pizza tonight. And you kind of reward ourselves. We reward ourselves a lot with food. It's easy and it's convenient. Well, the cool thing about hot dog carts and lemonade and all that, it's made right before your eyes. It's not a mystery meat. It's everything's done right there before your eyes, and there's a nostalgia to that. And there's the truth that it's all less expensive now than fast food. So now some vendors are charging way up, and they do really good doing it, but for the most part, not. I went to I got a burrito the other day. It was $4.69. I posted the receipt for one burrito with sour cream, and I went, "Oh my gosh!" I got vendors out here complaining that they're scared to raise their price from $2 to $3 on a hot dog, and that's the beauty of these businesses, kettle corn and all that stuff. It's a reward system, and it feels good, and you get to control your time and your freedom.
Yeah, yeah, I've been paying closer attention to prices out here, and or I see people. There's a lot of lemonade vendors out there posting on TikTok, right? They're doing a great job trying to gain traction, and they'll sell it for $6 or $7, and the people in the comments are like, I can't believe you're paying $7 for lemon water and sugar. But to your point, there's nostalgia when it's out in front of you. When you're at a festival with all of these other different food carts, like people will pay for it, and like sure, like you can be the naysayer right there, but guess what? This person's now making a living off of selling lemon water and sugar, and like they're doing a great job. And I mean, I saw one, they built a trail. I'm assuming they started out of a tent, but they invested $60,000 into a trailer, and it's got the water system, like everything. I mean, everything that they need. I've been watching some of Ken Packer's. Like his cart has changed a lot over time, right? And they learned. And when you show up, like they're the lemon stand to go to, the lemonade stand to go to at all the different festivals and stuff like that, and it's great. And again, like I love that a lot of this applies back to business as far as like don't make it complicated. Figure out what the people want, sell it to them, and just kind of lather, rinse, repeat. And if the soil isn't good over here, let's go over to the other spot.
But if 30 years ago you'd have asked anybody on the planet, would you buy a bottled water for $3? They'd have gone, no, it comes right out of my garden hose. I can drink it out of my sink and my faucet. Why would I need that? And now, what's the most sold thing, liquid on the planet, is water. And so I I don't think that there'll ever be a shortage of people being able to to provide food in a fun way or a healthier or a happier way than that would negate nothing could happen. I can't imagine anything happening where people are just going to quit eating. And so it is just a beautiful business. It to me, it's one of the most perfect businesses.
Yeah, well, I like it too because I would much rather go and give somebody $8 or $10 for like a fresh made burrito that's like stuffed to the gills than to Chipotle that's got 100 locations. People don't care. Like those people are making minimum wage. Like it's great. Like that's one of my other favorite thing about this is like this is somebody's hard-earned living. They figured it out. They've had their good days and their bad days, but like they're here making that money. Now let's transit. So I mean, you started off. You went 1 to 3 to 20, back down to three. When did you start coaching people? Was this people started coming asking you like Ben, like how in the world did you do it?
No, I think my first video was in '09, and I was still vending, full time. And I was getting eat up with friends and family and their friends going, hey, how can I get started? And I was having to take a lot of time to go, okay, here's what you got to do. You got to go to the health department. You got to find a car. You got to blah, blah, blah. And so I just made a quick video and threw it up on YouTube. And then anytime anybody called me for it, I just go to my YouTube. And it was just one video that sat there for a long time. And it just helped. I didn't have to tell them anymore. And and I didn't have to take the time to tell them anymore. So now, I still have all those, the videos are just there are a lot of them, and a lot of it's repeat. It's because the tire's round, it's still round, and but there are tips and tricks and things that happen in the industry that you need to adapt to and look ahead to. But overall, it's the tire's still round, and this isn't rocket science. You can do this, and when you talked about can as far as your analysis paralysis from analysis, um, Ken Packer is that way, and he is such a engineer. Well, I
I
think
can
he is.
see it in his videos. He's got that engineer mind. He's very much like me, which I respected and appreciated.
He is, and the other night, I don't know if you heard, he's kicking butt, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm thinking probably within 3 years I'll get a food trailer," and I'm going, "Man, I'd have done that 2 weeks in, because you're kicking butt." And Ken is so carefully thought out, well planned. If you watch his setup, he does everything meticulously.
Mm-hmm.
It's neat.
Yeah. Again, I went down the YouTube rabbit hole. I know when he was building his cart, he had the wood top at first so he could reorganize his different things, and like now he's solidified that. And when I messaged you, I said he used to do the sugar and now he's doing simple syrups. Like he is always analyzing the system, which again, being a systems business, I appreciate that. And that's why I also love the street food vending, because it is something simple, but there are iterations of it. You could definitely just show up with a white plastic table, a tent with a poster board that says lemonade, $5. Or you can continue iterating. Again, that now there's that group that I saw with a $60,000 trailer, but they've got two water hoses, they've got a wall of all their different syrups and all these different things. And it's really cool to see, because a lot of us try to go for that grand slam out of the gate, and just like, or we're so visualizing like what's the big end. It's like, just start off
Right.
simple. And you said, I mean, I love, what was the first email I got was like a 24-hour challenge, essentially, of like, call your Department of Agriculture. This is for Lemonade side. Like, call your department, figure out what you need, and like go drop a few $100s on some equipment, and you could start in 24 or 48 hours. Like, it was crazy. And that sounds so crazy for to start a business, but like at the same time, like, why not? And that's the way you got to get started.
It has a negative effect too for many people because it sounds childish. If it's that easy, is it's really, it doesn't make their ego, it doesn't satisfy your ego enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that in a negative way. We all have egos, and I don't mean we're cocky or arrogant. I mean our man, this doesn't feel like a real business. It's like if I buy a pressure washer and stick it in the back of my Honda Civic and drive around with some magnet signs on the side of my car from Vistaprint that say, Wilson pressure washing, I don't feel like I'm in business truly till I got a trailer and maybe a truck pulling that trailer. And I think people miss opportunities with lemonade and with funnel cakes and with boiled peanuts and with donuts and all these things because it doesn't feel like it's legitimate, like it's a legitimate, real business, and it is. And so when my sisters first started doing lemonade, they set up their little tent and stuff, but they weren't decked out to the hilt. But there's ways you can dress up something and start cheap on a shoestring budget and dress it up still like a little bowl of lemons. Yeah, I mean, you can go to the Dollar General or the Dollar Tree or the Goodwill and get you a nice, pretty bowl and put some lemons in it. Now you just change the whole look of your place, and it's just not a juicer and a knife and a cutting board. So um, there's little things like that, and I think though that because it's quick, like you were just talking, that you could start tomorrow doing it and making a true living, that it doesn't sound legitimate. And so many people just boop, go to the side.
Yeah, and you might have heard this guy. I can't remember his name, and maybe actually it's the same person we are talking about. I found him on a podcast. He owns It's Just Squeeze. He does lemonade and coffee at big festivals, and his mindset was, I want to work 6 months out of the year and snowboard the other 6 months out of the year, and that was attractive to me. And he jokes that like people ask like, what do you do? It's like, I own a lemon stand business. And there's a small, in his mind, there's probably a small hit to ego because like that's all you do. But then when he talks about like, I get to snowboard 6 months out of the year because of my lemonade business, people are like, oh, that's interesting, tell me more. And so who like, money spends the same no matter which way you make it. You don't have to make it overcomplicated. And especially the trading time for money thing, like you have control over it, you're trading less time for money. Who cares how you make it? Or you can sit there and work 80 hours a week doing things you hate doing to make almost the same money, probably less in many cases.
Right. But
Yeah.
feel better because you can show them your business card and it says manager,
Yeah.
co-manager, um, and so I agree. But I'm glad there's different types of people in the world. The people that can go work at a steel mill and put in the 60 hours and are proud to do it and are happy to do it. I'm glad because we need steel or we need I'm glad there's people that work at McDonald's. I'd hate to have to climb through the drive-through window and make my own food. So it I I'm glad that there's a wide variety of people types. But what's cool about this is no matter what type you are, this kind of business, it's just fail proof. It's fail proof. And I'm not selling anything here. I'm telling you, if you want to change your life and you want more freedom, this may not be your stopping point. This may just be a, a rung or two up a ladder to get you to where, you know, I do want to own a pressure washing company and I do want to or a roofing company and I'm going to need a big truck and I'm going to need some of the nice ladders. Well, yeah. So this could get you there way quicker than going, man, if we cut back on this and cancel Netflix and don't order on Amazon for 2 months, we might be able to do this in, 6 years. Instead of going, you know what, I could borrow from Meemaw, I could get $300 and start me a lemonade business tomorrow.
Yeah. And worst case, 6 months from now, you close it down. You've got a nice tent, a table, folding chairs you can use in your backyard. That was the other thing.
Yeah.
Like the investment was really low. The only thing you throw away, I guess, is maybe a license. Uh, but yeah, I love that about this. Um, I do want to kind of start bringing us to a close here. One thing I was thinking about was when you started this back in '08, did you have a vision of like, this is going to be, I'm going to turn this into my livelihood? Or was it kind of, it was that intermediate thing and then all of a sudden you realize that, oh, I have 20 carts?
I didn't have any desire to ever be a hot dog vendor. I never dreamed of being one. I don't think I'd ever seen. Well, I did. I had seen one. I had seen one years and years in Florida. I saw one. I went down there to help with. I worked rescue, and we got asked if we'd volunteer for Hurricane Andrew, and I went down there and saw my first hot dog vendor. And I never ate more hot dogs in my life because they were allowed to be topless. And so I me and my buddies, we ate hot dogs daily, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Great
But
marketing.
yeah, it was fantastic for young people. I think we were 20s in our early 20s. But anyway, um, I lost my train of thought. So no, I was not going to ever. I never considered expanding. I never had written out a list. I just was like, as soon as that first cart started making money and I had that factory gig, I was going, oh man, I'm gonna buy another cart. And so within literally weeks, I was off food stamps and had two more carts. And so I was tickled pink and I was going, man, I can help these people. And my cousin Johnny, he can run one. And Susan over here, his ex-wife can run one. And we started I started setting them up in different places and then learning how to make money off of that without taking their, all their money. I didn't want them scratching by. Um, but it was fun. I don't ever want to do that again. I don't think I have the brains nor the experience to grow something that big without lots of input from people that are smarter than me that would the cost may not it may outweigh the reward. So I literally I've stayed small intentionally, even with our own carts. We don't we we have so many that we're going to do, and that's it. We're
Yeah. How far in did you realize at that point? It's like, no, this is my career now. Like this is my lifestyle. Like food vending is going to be my thing. Like you felt the last podcast I recorded. Like I hate to use to say, oh, I've made it, but essentially, like I'm comfortable now, right? Like essentially, like I'm not scratching to make ends meet. Like I'm feeling really comfortable with this career.
I think that within a year, I never still considered it a career, but I kept going, and then I was enjoying teaching, and then I learned about how to market so that I got paid to teach, with courses and ebooks and stuff like that. So I was trying to learn that at the same time, and 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 I guess I don't know if I still consider it a career. It's a it's my pathway. It's my way so that I can live on a little farm and enjoy animals and enjoy my kids and grandkids and be able to, like, I could go fishing right now for 2 weeks and it's not going to change a dent in anything. I'm not going to miss payments. And I like that about vending is I could, if everything hit the fan today, I lost everything. I have a hot dog cart in my yard and a lemonade smasher in my little storage building, and I could go make money today.
I love that, and I think you've explained like that perfect success, paradise, lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. Because to your point, there's so many people that work so hard because they want to make the millions to reach that, and here you are with the lifestyle of that. So I absolutely love that. So best place to find you, Ben? I mean, it's learnhotdogs.com, right? I mean, again, a lot of
Hotdogs.com will give them anybody that wanted anything, any kind of information on street food vending, from lemonade to donuts to kettle corn to cottage food. Learnhotdogs.com.
awesome. And then again, Vendors United is definitely if you're like all in on the street food vending, but I think even joining that as a non-vendor, there's probably a lot of amazing business mindset in there too. Again, I feel this is the street food vending is like the peanut butter and jelly as far as like directions go, right? Like we start here and you just keep adding. So you can start off with a table cutting board and a knife, and then you work your way up to those $60,000 trailers. So like that is the best way to iterate on business. Well, Ben, I really appreciate your time. Great conversation, and like I said, that I didn't, you didn't realize before we started hitting record that this isn't a street food vending community, but it is a business community, and I think we have learned so much just from this one little niche today. So I appreciate it so much, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.